Also forbidden are women who are already married, except what your right hand possesses. These prohibited marriages are Allah's commandment to be obeyed. Whatever falls outside the above mentioned prohibitions is lawful for you to desire, using your wealth to become married men, not fornicators. Whichever of them you wish to enjoy in lawful marriage, you must give them their marriage gift. There is no blame on you after fulfilling that obligation in whatever you may mutually agree to do with the marriage gift. Allah is the knower, the wise. If anyone lacks the means to marry chaste, believing free women, then let him marry from the believing slave girls you own. Allah knows best your faith. You are all of the same origin, so marry them with the permission of their owners and give them their marriage gifts according to custom. As with chaste free women, not as fornicators or taken as lovers. If, after they are married, they commit an act of gross indecency, then their punishment is half of that of a chaste free woman. That permission is for those of you who fear falling into sin. It is, of course, best for you to be patient and exercise restraint. Allah is forgiving and kind. Allah explains and guides you in the traditions of those believers who came before you and to forgive you. Allah is the knower, the wise. Allah wishes to accept your repentance by making your lives easier, whereas people who pursue their lusts want you to deviate far from the course. Allah wishes to ease your burden since humans were created weak. Believers, don't use one another's wealth dishonestly, except for a business venture through agreement, and do not fight one another. Allah treats you kindly. Whoever disobeys Allah out of hostility and injustice shall be thrown in the fire. That's easy for Allah. If we avoid major sins that are forbidden, then we shall delete your minor sins and grant you an honorable entry into paradise. Do not wish to get that which Allah has favored others with. Men get a share of what they've earned, and women get a share of what they've earned. And ask Allah for a share of His favor. Allah knows all things. What parents and relatives leave behind, we have appointed beneficiaries for them, and those whom your right hands have contracted should be beneficiaries of your wills. Give them their shares. Allah witnesses all things. Men are guardian carers of women. Allah granted some more favors than others. So men should spend money on their wives. Honorably acting wives are pious and they guard their chastity as Allah expects them to guard it. Those whose ill conduct you are afraid of, first gently warn them. Then leave them alone in the bed and for a while live separately from them. If all else fails, apply a minimum of force on them. If, after taking these steps, they obey you, then don't behave unjustly in any way against them. Allah is Most High, the Great. If you fear hostility between husband and wife, then appoint a mediator from his family and one from her family. When both try sincerely to reconcile them, Allah will certainly bring about reconciliation between them. Allah is the knower, the aware. Worship Allah and don't associate anything with Him. Be kind to parents, to relatives, to orphans, to the needy, to those neighbors you know well and those you don't, to travelers and to the slaves that your right hand possesses. Allah dislikes the arrogant and the boastful, and those who are miserly and advise others to be miserly, hiding His favors that Allah has blessed them with. For the ungrateful, we have prepared a humiliating punishment. Allah dislikes those who spend their wealth to show off. They don't believe in Allah and the last day. Anyone who has made a close friend of Satan has taken an evil friend. What harm would it do them if they believed in Allah and the last day and spent in charity from what Allah has provided them? Allah knows them well. Allah wrongs no one, not even an atom's weight. And if it's a good deed, He multiplies it and gives an immense reward. How will they react when we bring a witness from every nation and then we bring you, Muhammad, as a witness against them all? That day the disbelievers and those who disobeyed the messenger will wish that the earth would swallow them up, and they won't be able to hide from Allah anything they had spoken. Believers, don't come to the prayer whilst you are drunk until you know exactly what you are saying, nor when you are in the state of major ritual impurity, except when on a journey, until you have bathed yourselves. However, if you are ill or on a journey, or if you have relieved yourself or had sexual intercourse with your spouse, and you cannot find water, then purify yourselves with some clean sand, wiping your faces and forearms. Allah is pardoner, forgiver. Haven't you seen those given a portion of the book and they swap it for error, wishing you stray from the path? Allah is aware of your enemies, and Allah is sufficient as a protector and a helper. Some of the Jews deliberately misquote the words of Revelation, saying, "We hear and disobey," and "listen like a deaf man," and "look to us," twisting the words with their tongues to insult the religion. If only they had said, "We hear and obey," and "listen and look out for us," that would have been far better and proper for them. However, Allah has cursed them because of their ingratitude, and only a few of them truly believe. You who received the book, believe in what we revealed. It confirms what you already have before we turn your faces back to front, or else we curse you as we curse the people of the Sabbath. Allah's command is always fulfilled. Allah does not forgive those who associate anything with Him, but He forgives anything less than that for whomever He pleases. Whoever associates anything with Allah has invented a great sin. Haven't you seen those who regard themselves as pure? Rather, it is Allah who purifies whomever He pleases, and not an ounce of injustice will be done to them. Look how they make up lies about Allah. That is a blatant sin. Haven't you seen those who were given a portion of the book and they continue to believe in idols and false gods, saying to the disbelievers that they are more on the right track than the believers? Allah has cursed them, and anyone Allah curses, you will find no helper for him. Or do they have a share in Allah's sovereignty? If so, they would never give people even a tiny bit. Or do they envy other people for what Allah has given them from His grace? We gave Ibrahim's family the book, wisdom, and a vast country to rule over. Some of them believe in the Prophet, and others block the way to him. Hell with its blazing fire will be enough for them. Those who deny our signs will roast in fire. Whenever their skin falls off, we will replace it with fresh skin so they may taste the torment. Allah is Almighty, wise. As for those who believe and do righteous deeds, we will take them to gardens under which rivers flow, living in them forever. There they'll have pure spouses and will let them enter the cool shade. Allah commands you to return trusts to their rightful owners, and when you judge between people, be just. Allah reminds you gently. Allah is the hearer, the seeing. Believers, obey Allah, the Messenger, and those among you in authority. If you disagree over something, then refer it to Allah and the Messenger. That is, if you believe in Allah and the last day, that's the best solution. Haven't you seen those who claim to believe in what is revealed to you and what was revealed before you? Yet they turn to false gods for judgments, despite having been ordered to reject them. Satan wants to lead them far from the right way. If they are told, "Come along to listen to what Allah has revealed to the Messenger," you will see the hypocrites turning to face in the opposite direction from you. But when a disaster strikes them, because of what they have done, they turn to you swearing by Allah, "We only want what is best and to maintain harmony." Allah knows what is in these people's hearts. So forgive them, warn them, and speak eloquently with them so it penetrates their minds. We haven't sent a single messenger for any purpose except that he should be obeyed in accordance with Allah's will. If anyone who wronged themselves came to you seeking Allah's forgiveness, Messenger, seek forgiveness for them. They will find Allah relenting, most kind. By your Lord, they aren't believers until they make you the judge in their disputes. Accept your decision without reservation and commit themselves to your decision. If we had ordered them, lay down your lives or leave your homes for the sake of Allah, only a few of them would have done so. Had they done what they were told, that would have been better for them and put them on a far firmer footing. We would have given them a great reward and guided them on the straight path. Anyone who obeys Allah and the Messenger shall be with those Allah favored, the prophets, the truthful, the martyrs and the righteous. What a wonderful fellowship. Such is Allah's grace, and Allah is the knower. Believers, take all precautions and let the battle-hardened march out in front, or else march out together. There are some of you who lag behind, and if you suffered a setback, will say, it was Allah's favor on me that I wasn't there with them. When Allah favors you, He will say, if only I had been with them, I would have gained a great victory, as though there was no love lost between you and Him. So those who are willing to stop this worldly life for the hereafter, let them fight in the way of Allah. Whoever fights in the way of Allah and is either killed or victorious, we will give him a great reward. What is the matter with you that you do not fight in the way of Allah when the weak, men, women and children are saying, Our Lord, out of your graciousness, take us out of this town of cruel people. Give us protectors and helpers. The believers fight for the sake of Allah, whilst the disbelievers fight for the sake of false gods. So, fight the supporters of Satan. Satan's scheming is weak. Haven't you seen those who were told, hold back your hands from wrongdoing and instead perform the prayer and pay zakat? Since fighting was prescribed for them, a group of them fears men as they fear Allah. They say, Our Lord, why have you prescribed fighting for us? Couldn't you have delayed it for a while? Say, the delights of this world are little, while the hereafter is far better for the mindful. You will not be treated unjustly in the slightest. Death will catch up wherever you may be, even if you are in strong forts. When good things happen to them, they say, this is from Allah. And when bad things happen to them, they say, this is your fault, Muhammad. Say, all is from Allah. What is the matter with the people that they hardly understand what they are told? Whatever good things happen to you, they are from Allah. And whatever evil happens to you, it's from yourselves. We sent you as a messenger to people. Allah is sufficient witness. Whoever obeys the messenger has obeyed Allah. But whoever turns away, we didn't send you as a guardian over them. They say, we will obey. However, when they leave your presence, a group of them spend the night plotting against what you said. Allah writes down how they spend the night. So, ignore them and put your trust in Allah. Allah suffices as a protector. Don't they reflect on the Quran? Had it come from anyone besides Allah, they would have found many inconsistencies in it. Whenever a report of war or peace comes to them, they broadcast it loudly. Whereas, if they had referred it to the messenger or to those in authority, its significance could be determined by those best suited to interpret it. If it had not been for Allah's grace and kindness, most of you would have followed Satan. So Muhammad, fight in the way of Allah. You are only answerable for yourself and encourage the believers. It may be that Allah will curb the power of disbelievers. Allah is stronger in might and more severe in punishment. Whoever speaks out for a worthy cause will have a share in its benefits, and whoever speaks out for a wrong cause will share in its burden. Allah is watchful over everything. When anyone greets you, respond with a better greeting, or at least return it in kind. Allah keeps account of everything. Allah is the only God. He will gather you all on Judgment Day. There is no doubt about that. Who is more truthful in speech than Allah? Why do you disagree about the hypocrites? Allah has driven them back into disbelief for what they did. Do you want to guide those who Allah has allowed to go astray? Anyone who Allah allows to go astray, you will never find a way out for him. They would love to see all of you disbelieve as they have disbelieved, so that you become equal. Don't ally yourselves to any of them until they migrate for the sake of Allah. If they turn away, seize them and slay them wherever you find them, and take none of them as an ally or a helper, except for those who are related to a people with whom you have a treaty, or who come over to you because their hearts are weary of fighting you, or of fighting their own people. Had Allah wished, He would have given them power over you, so they would have fought you. If they withdraw and do not fight you but make you an offer of peace, then Allah gives you no excuse to fight against them. There are others whom you will find wanting to be on good terms with both you and their own people. But whenever they are put to the test, they return to fighting. So, if they don't withdraw or make you an offer of peace, seize them and slay them wherever you encounter them. We've given you clear authority against such people. It is forbidden for a believer to kill another believer, except by mistake. Anyone who kills a believer by mistake must free a believing slave and pay compensation to the victim's family, unless they waive it as an act of charity. If the victim belonged to an enemy tribe but was himself a believer, then free a believing slave. And if he was from a tribe with which you have a treaty, then pay compensation to their family and free a believing slave. Whoever cannot find the means to pay compensation, let him fast 2 consecutive months to gain Allah's forgiveness. Allah is the knower, wise. The penalty of intentionally killing a believer is hell, living there forever. Allah's anger and curse will fall on him, and He has prepared for him a terrible punishment. Believers, when you set out on patrol in the path of Allah, be open and honest in your intentions. And when someone gives you a greeting of peace, do not say, "You are not a believer," seeking worldly gains. Allah has many other rewards. That is how you used to behave in the past until Allah favored you with Islam. So be open and honest. Allah is aware of what you do. The believers who stayed behind, apart from those who were physically or financially incapable, are not equal to those who strive with their lives and their wealth in the path of Allah. Allah has favored by degrees those who strive with their wealth and lives above those who stayed behind. Allah has promised both goodness. However, Allah has favored those who strive over those who stayed behind with a great reward, high ranks, forgiveness and kindness. Allah is forgiving, most kind. The Muslims whose souls the angels take while they were doing wrong to themselves, since they didn't migrate, will be asked, "What state were you in?" They will say, "We were weak and vulnerable in the land." Then the angels will ask, "Wasn't Allah's earth spacious enough for you to migrate?" For such people, their refuge will be hell. What a wretched destination, except for the weak among the men, women, and children who were unable to come up with a strategy or to find a way out. Such people may be pardoned by Allah. Indeed, Allah is pardoning, forgiving. Whoever migrates in the path of Allah will find a place of refuge somewhere in the land and worldly abundance. And whoever sets out from home to migrate for the sake of Allah and His Messenger and dies on the way, Allah will grant him his reward. Allah is forgiving, kind. Whenever you are traveling in the land, you can shorten the prayer without feeling guilty. If you fear being attacked by the disbelievers, they are your open enemies. Messenger, when you are among them and leading them in prayer, let a group of them stand with you carrying their weapons. Then, when they have prostrated, they may cover you from behind, while another group who hasn't yet prayed come and pray with you. Again, with due precaution with their weapons. The disbelievers would love to see you neglect your weapons and your possessions so they could descend on you all at once. Nor is there any blame on you if some hardship, such as rain or illness, makes you put down your weapons, but remain on your guard. Indeed, Allah has prepared humiliating punishment for the disbelievers. If ever you must postpone the prayer, continue nevertheless to remember Allah, be it standing, sitting, or lying down. Then, whenever you feel safe again, perform the prayer. The prayer remains compulsory for the believers at fixed times. So, do not be half-hearted in seeking out the hostile, disbelieving people. If you are suffering, then they are suffering just like you. However, there is difference. While you have hope in Allah, they have no such hope. Allah is the knower, wise. We sent down to you the book in truth, so that you might judge between people the way Allah has shown you. So don't be a supporter of the traitors, but seek Allah's forgiveness. Allah is forgiving, kind. And do not argue about those who deceive themselves. Allah dislikes anyone who is treacherous and sinful. They try to hide from people, but they can't hide from Allah. He is with them as they talk late into the night about things that displease Him. Allah is aware of what they do. Believers, here you are defending them in this worldly life, but who will defend them against Allah on Judgment Day or be their lawyer? Whoever does an evil deed or wrongs himself, then seeks Allah's forgiveness, he will find Allah forgiving, kind. Whoever commits a sin will reap its reward. Allah is all-knowing, wise. Whoever does wrong or commits a sin then blames someone else for it, he has burdened himself with a slander and an open sin. If it wasn't for Allah's grace and kindness towards you, a group amongst them would have misled you. But as it is, they only misled themselves, doing you no harm. Allah has revealed to you the book and wisdom and has taught you what you didn't know. Allah's favor on you is great. There is very little good in most of their secret meetings. except those who enjoin acts of charity or do common good or reconcile between people. Whoever does these things seeking Allah's pleasure, we will give them a great reward. Whoever opposes a messenger after the guidance has been made clear to him and follows a path other than that of the believers, we will let him continue down his chosen path until we burn him in hell. What an evil destination! Allah will not forgive idolatry, but He forgives whatever is less than that to whomever He pleases. Whoever associates anything with Allah has wandered far, far astray. What they call on apart from Him are nothing but fabricated goddesses, and ultimately what they call on is only a rebellious demon. Allah has cursed him for saying, I will take an allotted share of your servants, and I will lead them astray and give them false hopes, and I will order them to slit the ears of cattle and to tinker with Allah's creation. Whoever takes Satan as a protector rather than Allah will clearly be a loser. He promises them and gives them hopes, but Satan's promises are mere deception. Their home is hell, and they will find no way out of it. Those who believe and do good works will be admitted to gardens beneath which rivers flow, living there forever. This is Allah's true promise, and whose word is more truthful than Allah's? It is neither according to your wishes nor to the wishes of the people of the book. Anyone who does evil will be repaid in kind, but will not find any protector or helper besides Allah. A believer, whether male or female, does good works, will enter paradise and will not be wronged in the least. Who is better in terms of religion than the one who surrenders himself completely to Allah, performs good works, and out of natural inclination follows Ibrahim's way of worshipping? Allah took Ibrahim as a close friend. Whatever is in the heavens and on earth belongs to Allah. Allah has full control of all things. They asked you concerning women. Say, Allah instructs you concerning them, in addition to what was recited to you in the book, about female orphans, from whom you withhold what is prescribed for them regarding their inheritance, because you wish to marry them. And likewise helpless children. Deal fairly with orphans. Allah knows whatever good you do. If a woman is afraid of her husband's ill conduct or alienation, both should try to reconcile with each other without feeling guilty. Reconciliation is the best policy. But humans tend to be selfish, so remain righteous and mindful of Allah. Remember that Allah is aware of what you do. You will never be able to be strictly just when dealing with your wives, however hard you try. But do not lean so much towards one that you leave the other as though suspended between marriage and divorce. If you can reconcile and be mindful, Allah is forgiving, most kind. If they separate, Allah will provide for each of them from His abundance. Allah is the vast, wise. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah. We commanded you and the people of the book before you, be mindful of Allah. Even if you deny it, whatever is in the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah. Allah has always been self-sufficient, worthy of praise. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah, and He is sufficient as a guardian. If He wishes, people, He can get rid of you altogether and replace you with others. Allah has the power to do that. Whoever desires the reward of this world only, then let him know that the reward of this world and of the hereafter are with Allah. Allah is the hearer, the seeing. Believers, stand up as Allah's witnesses for justice, even if it's against yourselves, parents or relatives, and regardless of whether a person is wealthy or poor. Allah has more right to your loyalty than they. Therefore, do not follow your desire instead of being just. If you distort the truth or refuse to give testimony, Allah is aware of what you do. Believers, believe firmly in Allah and His Messenger, and in the book that He sent down to Him, and in the book He sent before. Whoever rejects Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, and the last day has gone far astray. Those who believed, then disbelieved, then believed again, then disbelieved, then increased yet further in disbelief, will neither be forgiven nor guided towards His way. Give glad tidings of painful punishment to the hypocrites, who have taken disbelievers as their allies instead of the believers. Do they seek strength from them when strength is Allah's? Allah revealed in the book, when you hear Allah's verses being rejected or mocked, Do not sit with them till they turn to another topic of conversation. Otherwise you'll be like them. Allah will gather all the hypocrites and disbelievers in hell. These hypocrites are waiting to see what happens to you. If victory from Allah comes to you, they will say, "Were we not with you?" And if the disbelievers gain some success, they will say to them, "Didn't we encourage you and protect you against the believers?" Allah will decide between you on the day of judgment. However, Allah will never give the disbelievers a way to a conclusive victory over the believers. The hypocrites try to deceive Allah, but He leaves them in their deception. Thus, whenever they stand up for the prayer, they do so lazily, making a show for the people, but they remember Allah little. Dithering between this and that, they are neither with these believers nor with those disbelievers. Whoever Allah allows to go astray, you can't ever guide him. Believers, don't take disbelievers as allies instead of the believers. Do you wish to give Allah clear proof against yourselves? The hypocrites will be in the bottommost pit of hell, and you will never find a helper for them, except that is for those who repent, reform themselves, hold firmly to the religion of Allah, and become genuine in their religion. Such people will be with the believers. Allah will give the believers a great reward. What would Allah achieve by punishing you if you believe and are grateful? Allah is appreciative, the knower. Assalamu alaikum, peace and blessings with you all. Thank you for visiting our channel. Please remember us in your du'as. If you enjoy listening to this translation of the Holy Quran, please consider subscribing and sharing our efforts with everyone and anyone. May Allah accept this effort of ours as sadaqah for us and our loved ones, and make it a means of our success in this life and the Akhira. Ameen, summa Ameen.